Good morning and welcome to your midday edition of Wake Up Call. It is, of course, day 3 now. Well, day 3 of the week. Some people will class Monday as the first day. Some people class Sunday as the first day.
Yeah, so I'm a Monday to Sunday, I must admit. Yeah, Monday's day 1.
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. Well, it might be day 3, it might be day 4 for you. Who knows? But it's Wednesday anyway, and this is your first live show. It certainly is.
It's hump day, isn't it?
It really is. It's hump day all round, but although we don't feel like that here today, we have got a jam-packed day lined up your way. This week on Crafters TV, it is all about New Year, new craft. On Monday, we focused on die cutting with Sarah. Yesterday was all about stamping and colouring with Leanne, and today it's all about mixed media. Now we thought, who could we get? Well, it's, of course we had to get Jan. Jan, we needed you for mixed media.
I know, it's been a long time, hasn't it? The customers are constantly asking us for more mixed media shows, and it is something that we're working on, obviously, but products, you know, we get the products in, they fly out the door, and it does take us a while, especially if we're dealing with third-party companies, to get some of those products back in again. So yeah, this was a perfect choice for the New Year, new craft, and honestly, I'm delighted. You know that I love my mixed media, and I will add to that there are lots and lots of different kinds of mixed media. It's quite a broad umbrella, and basically, a lot of people, I always say this, a lot of people are doing it without even realising. You know, if you're working, for example, and I know you love your flower foam, Craig, but something like that on a paper crafting project, you've got 2 different mediums that you're working with. If you like gilding wax and you like to use that with your embossing folders, 2 different mediums. It is literally just about mixing mediums. If you have access to soft crafts and you like incorporating fabrics into your paper crafting projects, again, you're mixing mediums. So it doesn't have to be all singing and dancing. And because we tend to class Wednesday as our beginner's day, I have kept it fairly straightforward, but I've got, shall we have a look in my box of goodies? I've got a box of goodies here. I have got a few samples to show you later, but because I'm really pleased that we've managed to get some of the third-party products back in. As a company, we don't do a massive range of mixed media products as such, but we do a fabulous range of Spectrum Noir colour products, and that's basically what we've got today, but we've included some third-party. So I've brought back things like the airless misters, which I've had on the shows before, and I know a lot of people have bought these in the past, and it's just refreshing you with ideas of how to use the stuff. If you're new to the channel or you're new to crafting, then we've got these in stock again for you to buy. So these are actually a water-based ink spray with a little mister on the top, and by Cosmic Shimmer, which are a part of Creative Expressions. We've also, I absolutely adore these. We've got some little watercolour inks, which are in a bottle that have a dropper on, which I'm going to use in our first demo. So I'll show you these. Again, Cosmic Shimmer brands. Some of you may have bought them last time we brought them to you. Some of them, they may be new to you today, so we'll look at those. We've also got some of the pigment stains, which are very similar, but there's much more pigment in these. So whereas the watercolours are quite translucent, this one, you get a real intense stain with it. So different colours available in that one. We've actually got a couple of Hunky Dory products on as well. They do a glimmer mist. So again, a coloured stained ink in a spray bottle. So again, if you're wanting to add colour, we'll have a look at all of these. We had to include, you know, we sell tons of this. We've got the Pebeo Gilding Wax. Just grabbed the silver one here, but we've got all the colours in stock at the moment on the show. And I've also brought some of the Cosmic Shimmer embossing powders. Again, I've had these on mixed media shows in the past, and I know you guys have bought them when we've had them on. Again, it's just refreshing memories today as to what you can do with that thing. And that's really just touching the surface. We've also got some of our Spectrum Noir products on. We've got the re-inkers on with the alcohol inks. We've got the acrylic paint markers on. All the things that you can bring together to bring that mixed media aspect into your paper crafting. So yeah, we're going to do loads and loads of techniques. I've got a couple to show you this morning in Wake Up Call.
Yes, you did.
And then we've got a whole show at 2 o'clock using those products in conjunction with a couple of other bits that we're throwing in there. And then later on for New Beginnings, I've just picked a couple of samples out. We've got some of my favourites actually from recent launches. These are actually one of the ones that I love. Let me show you this one first. These are the the slimline embossing folders, the 3D embossing folders, and you get 2 different designs in one packet. So if you're buying the whole bundle of these, you've got an abundance of designs to use together or to use singly. You know, you can make a really nice slimline card with them. We're going to make a box later, just using this as the top section on the box. Again, incorporating your gilding wax with them. Look, you can just see. And the 2 different folders in each set. So again, you can use the 2 different ones. You could replicate it and use the same one. You can make it into a triple, which is what we're going to do with ours later. So again, lots and lots of different designs. Chopping them up, you know, actually making your panel embossing folders. I just love that design. Absolutely love it. Again, just thinking outside the box. And then we've also brought you back those beautiful delicate lace edgeables, which have got those 3 different designs that are all sort of, the idea is that they all work together. So the concept is that you can use them together. But again, don't have to. If you just wanted to use one as an edgeable, you know, that works like our normal edgeables, you can use them on the edge of the gatefolds. And then we've also got the whole bundle, I believe, of our Say It With Flowers collection. So if you didn't manage to get that first time round, you can have a look at that. These are all on the website ready loaded for you. We've also got a fabulous paper pad collection with this that we've put separately, because I know some people like to add the paper pads as a top-up one. So yeah, we've got the whole collection back on there again, which it does incorporate some of the foam for the flowers in there, as well as lots and lots of other pieces. So that's the 6 o'clock show.
It is indeed.
For our beautiful beginnings. Yes, a really busy day.
It's going to be
Looking forward to it, yes.
It really, really is. It's going to be such a busy day. As Jan said as well, Wednesday, you know, it's all about just, you know, bringing it down a few different levels, you know, to maybe if you're a beginner. You're maybe not necessarily beginner in crafting, but maybe beginner on that mixed media scale. Then this is certainly going to be the best day for you. Now, Jan was showing you some of the products she's going to be using, just some of them. And you're like, yeah, but I need to know where to go, Craig. Well, of course, it's going to be our website. And guess what? We have put a new section in there for you. So you just need to go across onto our website. And then when you are there, you're just going to click on to New Year, New Craft. Then what you're going to do is you're going to then have a look within each of the sections. You'll have seen mixed media there, and lo and behold, look at that, the mixed media, brand new section. It's been added today with a whole abundance of items that you would be able to use in conjunction with your mixed media. Now, maybe it is just using 2 different mediums together, or of course, maybe you're going to get really inky and blendy and spritz together. Then, of course, you can absolutely do that. So heading across on the website, you'll have seen as well on that New Year, New Shop, there is selected items that are up to 23% off. And that's because we're in the new year, of course, of 2023. So therefore, those selected items have an additional 23% off. And you may also find some of the inks that Jan was showing you are on a 3 for 2 maybe. Just saying, just saying. So you can go across onto that section. You can still go across onto Shop the Day as well if you want to. It is all there for you to go and have a look at. Shop till your heart's content, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com or .eu. Right, we're about to have a look at a showstopper, but we've got Chloe on the comments for Wake Up Call this morning. And Jill is saying, hi Chloe, Jan, Craig and all the CTV crew. We have got Charlotte and we've got Jamie in the gallery today. It was meant to be Nicola. Nicola's feeling a little bit under the weather, so Jamie has jumped in to give us a helping hand today. And just out the corner of my eye, he's busy beavering away. We've got Jake out there getting ready for the remaining of the day. He's just giving me a wave to wave back to all of you. So he's out there as well. Then we've got Sandy saying, good morning, CC, crafty friends from Florida's Treasure Coast. Oh, sounds good. Zoe saying, good morning, everyone from West Sussex. Charlotte Everett is saying, morning, everyone, here in Herne Bay, Kent. We've also got Alison is saying, good morning, everyone from Brooklyn, New York. Good morning to you. We've got Jennifer Dawn Smith is saying, love having Jan here. I always learn something new, don't we just? We always do. Val is saying, come on, Craig, if it's mixed media, Jan has to be the first choice. Looking forward to the shows, although I'm not a beginner, Val, in Southampton. It has to be Jan. Has to, yep, no questions asked. Alison Lee saying, good morning, everyone. Beth and Lina saying, good morning, Craig and Jan. And we've got Alicia saying, I have inks and I have not used them yet. I need some ideas to start making cards for Mother's Day. Well, Jan, I would say today is definitely going to be the perfect day.
I think it is. I'm guilty of this as well. I buy stuff and I don't use it. You know, and like you sort of sorting through things, say, oh, I've forgotten I'd got that, and it's still in the wrapper, you know, in the plastic packaging or what have you. So yeah, I'm guilty of it too. But today, what I'm planning to do is go through. I've tried to use as many of the products as possible that we've got available for you today, whether you're new to that product or like Craig's just said, it may be that you've bought it previously, but you're not quite sure what to do with it. So we'll go through all those today. And as I say, I've tried to use as many of them as I can on a technique level, and then actually showing you how to incorporate them into your projects once you've done that technique. Because we've all, I talk about this a lot about making backgrounds and then keeping them ready to use. But then it's like, well, what do you do with them when you use them, Jan? You know, so you can use them as a background to a card, you can stamp on them, you can die cut them, you can make flowers out of them. So many different ways to actually use that piece of coloured work that you've done. So what we're going to start with then is we're going to have a look at the little Cosmic Shimmer water, well, the Pearlescent watercolour inks. So this makes them slightly different in that they do have a translucent quality when they're in the container. You can see there in the little jar, they do look quite curt, but then if I tip this, you can see that mica in the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to let Craig just fill you in because I think we've put one of these in our beginner's bundle, haven't we?
Well, have done.
So before I go into much more detail with this, I'm going to let Craig show you. We've got like a starter bundle, and I'm fairly certain there's one of these in it, isn't there, Craig?
There is indeed.
Fabulous,
there absolutely is. We're going to go over it. What I'm going to say is, well, if you do have any questions, send them through to Chloe. What I'm not going to do throughout Jan's demonstrations, I'm not going to jump in with questions after questions because I know we'll love to see how you do the card and the project and the steps. But if there is any throughout the show, different stops, what I'll do, any questions, I'll send them across to Jan. But yeah, this is the mixed media. This is a showstopper deal with markers, Gilding wax, you've got papers and more. Now, all of that you're getting, you are going to be getting it all for £48 or $60. If you're platinum, that comes down to £32 or $48. Now, on that today's price, you're actually saving 40%. You've got 10 items in this collection. The dual paint markers, these are the dual ones. You've got your silver Gilding wax. Then you've also got your tricolour aqua, which is your meadow. You've got your Spectrum Noir reinker, which is your TB9. That's your black blue. You've also got your Cosmic Shimmer, your Pearlescent watercolour ink, which is your, I can never say it.
Cerulean.
Cerulean blue?
That's the one.
Cerulean blue. That one there. So that was the one that Jan was referring to a moment ago with the colour she had. So you're getting one in this bundle. And then you're also getting your Centura Pearl Cosmic Shimmer, your pigment satin. That one is being your citrus lime. But then you're getting your spritzer bottles, you're getting your blending egg pads, you're also getting a circle blending tool, that silver wax, as I was saying, you've got the premium cardstock. All of that you're getting for £40 or $60. Platinum price is £32 or $48. It is across on the website, the New Year New Craft section that you can just click onto, click into mixed media, and it will be there. Right, Jan, the floor is all yours.
Right, so we put that little bundle together so that you've got literally a bit of everything. It's almost like dipping your toe in the market. If you're new to this particular type of craft, you've got a little bit of everything, and we're going to be using the majority of the items that are in that bundle throughout this show and the 2 o'clock show this afternoon.
Okay.
So I've actually sort of tried, as I say, to use as many of the products and sort of combine those with things that you may already have in your stash, and again, other sort of Crafters Companion products. For example, like embossing folders, which we're going to use in this main demo first, and die cuts, you know, things like that that you may already have. So the mixed media aspect of it can either be a background, or like I said, you can die cut into it, you can stamp over the top of it, you know, you can cut out your flowers and make those. There's so many different things. I'm going to stick with a fairly straightforward background for this first one, and we're going to talk about these lovely pearlescent watercolours again.
Okay.
So I've actually got a whole range. If you have a look on the website, there's a whole range of colours. But what I was just saying earlier about them is that you can see the ink, you can see the colour there in the bottle, but you can see the mica. And this is your pearlescent aspect. Now, anything that has mica or glitter in, it's heavier than the water suspension, so it will sink. So because these have been stored in the little tray like so, this has actually gathered at the bottom. So the first thing you need to do with them is give them a really good shake. And there's a little mixer ball in there. You can just hear that inside, the little ball bearing that actually sort of agitates that mica and stops it being like a clump at the bottom. And you can see this one now. We've actually taken that aspect off the bottom. And you've got that lovely pearlised texture to it, rather than that clear ink like you can see in the yellow one. Now, if I was to shake this one long enough, we'd get all this off the bottom and we'd do the same. So what I've done is I've chosen, surprisingly, some of you might be surprised that I've chosen the pink, others might not. Absolutely gorgeous shades. This one's Radiant Orchid that I'm going to use, and I've actually given it a really good shake to make sure that it's all mixed up. So just to show you, to get started, let me just grab some cleaning equipment, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop some out onto the mat just so that you can see the consistency of it. Okay, so in the top of them, they've got like a little, if you can see here, this bit depresses. Our Charlotte's coming in for a closer look there. Look, can you see how it goes in? Yeah. Yeah. So this works in conjunction with what's inside. You've actually got a little dropper, like a little pipette inside. And by depressing the top, it sucks up the ink into the dropper. And then next time you press it, it will actually drop the ink out. And you can see the consistency of that is quite... it's got quite a viscous consistency once you've agitated all that mica in it, and then you've got lots of things you can do with this. Now, I talked about watercolour products before. Anything that is water-based plays with each other. So you can use this to pick up with a paintbrush and paint with. You can actually make background washes with it, a little bit like we use our sparkle inks and things like that. You can actually pop it, if you mix it out into a larger space, you can stamp into it, or you can use a brush to put it over your stamp and stamp with it. Okay. Again, lots of different things. I'm actually going to make a background with it this morning. And again, this is something that if you're new to it, I would advocate trying. Working on your glass mat, as opposed to working on a craft mat, you will get different effects. So I'm actually going to bring my craft mat in this morning. But if you work on the glass mat, when you're going to do this, I'm going to do you know, we've done this with our own products lots of times where we actually mop up the ink. Yeah. Okay. It has a different reaction when you take it off a glass mat than it does when you take it off a craft mat. So have a go with both, see which you actually prefer, and see the difference between it. So I'm going to bring in my craft mat. And these are our own Crafter's Companion mats. They're actually twice this size, so they're the size of the glass mat. I just cut mine in half so that I've got a piece that fits nicely and it's workable. I do that as well with mine, yeah. So I've got one that I have for really messy stuff when I'm using paints and things, and I've got one things that will wipe clean like these. Now, all the paper that I'm going to use today, pretty much I think all the paper that I've used for these particular types of techniques is all from that premium watercolour pad. And this is the one again that we've popped in that starter pack for you so that you've got access to the correct tools. So before you've even started thinking about mediums, it's about having the right paper. Now, a watercolour paper is designed to absorb water. So anything that's water-based is going to play beautifully on here, and you're not going to get too much warping. Can you do it on smooth cardstock? Yes, you can. But again, it will sort of saturate it and seep into the fibres. It will move more on your paper because it bleeds into the fibres. It will get wetter because it's not intended to have that much moisture. So again, it's about picking the right product for the job. So the majority of this that I've used today is from that paper pad, and I've done the nice big sheets. You've got 9" by 12" sheets. So I just cut these into pieces that I need for what I'm going to do. And it's quite a smooth texture. Can you use our ordinary watercolour card? Yes. So if you buy the watercolour card in the packs of 15, absolutely fine. This is a little tiny bit smoother than the one that you get in the pack, but they will both work fine. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to pop some of this pink onto the mat.
Oh, looking forward to this.
And we're just going to pick it up literally. Okay, so I've popped the little top in, which has filled my little pipette up, and I love that that's part of the design. You've not got to worry about have you got extra pieces you need. So I've just popped a few pieces out there, a few drops out, basically what was in the pipette. And then I'm going to bring in some water, which I just carry in my mister. We've got the little Spectrum Raw misters, as I say, as part of your bundle. Just add a little bit of water to it, and it doesn't dilute it enough to make a problem. And then I want to agitate it because I don't want to pick up blobs of that onto my paper. So I've just used my pokey tool, but you could use a paintbrush, whatever you have handy, and basically just agitate this so that you've got it spread out a little bit more. Now you can see, because of the silicone mat, it's staying in those droplets. So again, different techniques, different finishes. Now because we're actually going to press into this, then it's going to flatten it out a little bit. So all I'm going to do now, and there's not really a right or wrong side to your paper, it's watercolour on both sides. I'm literally just going to pop this in, and I'm going to just press it flat to the surface, and then pick it up, and you can see how it starts to pick up that gorgeous colour.
Nice.
Now you're not seeing the pearlescent effect yet until we get it dry. So what I'm going to do is do the same on the other side. Now I have a little bit of information for you this morning that might be distressing to some people, so I'll give you a warning first.
Do I need to sit down? Or?
Oh Craig, you'll never guess what's happened. A lot of you that follow me will know about my little heat tool. And I'm just glad that producer Johnny's not in today, because it passed away over Christmas. Yes, I was doing my prep over the last couple of days, and I was literally in the middle of doing something, and it just died. And I said to my husband, I don't know whether you can fix it, because I already revived it once about 5 years ago, and I've got an extra 5 years out of it. It must be at least that. But it's in such bad condition now that I'm just thinking, I need to lay it to rest. So I am in the market for a new one. Now I've actually got our Crafter's Companion heat tool today, all right, which we're going to do some work with in the later show as well. And this has got the 2 speeds on. So I'm just going to use the lower speed of the 2 because I don't want it to be, blowing all the ink around, but I do need to dry this part. So I'm going to leave this here and then just dry the bit that we've started making. And then we can go over the top of it and add some more. If we leave it wet, it's just going to blend in with what's already there. If I dry it, we're going to get a different effect on the top. So let me just show you what I mean. We'll do a quick, I might be able to go up to the second one on there for what we're doing. If you get any bits that sort of like, sort of cling together, just pop them off with a little bit of either wet wipe or paper kitchen towel like that. If you've got any areas that are really wet. Yeah. Now I went straight onto dry card with this. If you spritz your card with water first, you'll get another technique. So I would just advocate playing with things like this, just to see what happens when you do the different techniques. So what I'm going to do now that we've actually got that, it's all but dry. There's a little bit still damp. I'm going to go back, because we've got all this gorgeous ink on here, but instead of pressing it and squidging it flat, I'm just going to dap it and get some of those dots and spots over the top this time. So again, wherever you've got that sort of puddle of water, we can just get rid. And again, in this side, pick up some of those little dots. All right. Now the aim today is not to end up covered in ink, because we've got so many of the ink products on. I shall be like a rainbow by the time I've finished. And again, dry it again. If you've got areas where you've got too much of it, just take it out, but just dry it off again. And then if you've still got left, you can take a second piece, you can keep going. I'm going to add a bit more to this once we're dry and build up that background. So again, just drying off those areas that are really wet. It doesn't have to be 100% dry, but remember, wet into wet is going to spread out much more than if you start and dry it and then back into wet. Now I can see here, just going to get our Charlotte to come and have a look where some of the pigment, the pearlescent pigment's starting to come through. So if we just come in really close, and you can see here there's a clump of the pigment. Can you see how it's got a slightly different colour to it?
You can,
There's a little bit here, look, that's starting to show through. And when we get it in the light, it's got that lovely sort of pearlescent texture to it. Now I'm going to go in again. All right, thank you, Charlotte. I'm going to take some more because we've still got a lot of it on the mat there. I'm going to take some more because I want to really I can see some of the pearlescent elements now on the mat. So I'm just going to go in and pick up pretty much what's left on the mat so that I'm not wasting it. And again, we'll give that a dry.
I will just say that anything you see Jan's using, if it's on the website, Charlotte's popping it up either at the side of the screen or along the bottom. So I don't want to keep jumping in with different prices, but if Jan's using it, then Charlotte's popping it on the screen for
Fantastic, yeah. Now I can see a couple more bits actually coming up now, and this is where you get that pearlescent element in there. Now remember, I actually spritzed this with water, so we have diluted it a little bit more. If I'd have done it with the ink, you'll get more of this pearlescent element in here.
I suppose it is literally just plain, Jan, isn't it?
It is, and I do call it plain, Craig, because there's so many different ways of doing just this one technique.
Yeah.
You know, whether you start with your cardstock wet or whether you start with it dry, whether you spritz the ink or whether you don't, how many times you dry it and layer it. You know, there's so many different ways to just that one technique. But again, if I tilt this now, and you can actually see, now it's dry, you've got those lovely spots of mica that are starting to appear. And just see if I can pick that up on there. You see them there, look?
Yes.
It's almost like an interference colour.
Yes.
It's a little bit darker. It's almost purple in this one.
Yeah.
In some of them, you'll get like a goldy tinge to it. But that's actually started to come through now. Look, you can see where those little patches are picking up. So I'm actually going to clean what's left off the mat here. And this is, again, the beauty of having, you know, your craft mats, because they literally just clean up.
And
so that's all good to go.
You know, when I do techniques like that, it's not something that I think of drying it and then going back and then adding what's left on the glass mat. I'm quite bad at doing one layer and then thinking, right, that's it, and then discarding the rest.
Yeah. But again, you know, it's sort of building. Mixed media is about layers. It's about building layers with it. And you can see there how we've created, you know, that initial was just sort of a squidge of pink ink. And then by drying it and adding, you've got all those lovely little sort of spots that we've picked up. We've got those clumps of pigment in it now where it's sort of pushed it around. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in an embossing folder, and we've got these on the show later. There should be on the website now loaded. And this is actually the embellished lace, which is, I love these narrow folders. And all I'm going to do is pop this through just to get a little bit of extra sort of texture on it, really, because this one's just got a design at the top and the bottom. So rather than embossing it all, we're just going to get those couple of techniques. Now I'm just going to grab my MIDI and pop this the easiest through, because it just, the 3D folders literally just go straight through your MIDI and your mini as they are.
I'm going to go over the folders just shortly, but look at the price. I would get in there fast. That is the 3 of them for $5.99 or $7.95.
Put that down there again. Now again, this is not obvious once you've done this part of it. There is, I can see it here, and if I just tilt it slightly, you'll see there's a little bit of embossing at the top. If I flip it, you'll be able to see that deboss section even better. So we've got a section here and a section here. So in order to create this and have a little bit more depth now, I'm actually going to bring and mix this. Even though I've started off with a Cosmic Shimmer product, I'm going to bring in our own inks now and work with those with it. So I've just got one of the opaque pigments. It will work with the water reactives as well, but you know that I tend to favour my opaque pigments. And this is Damson Wine, which was a really nice, I tested 1 or 2 colours out because I wanted to try and bring out that pigmentation with the pearlescent mica. And literally, I'm just going to work from the top over that embossed area using one of our sponge applicators, just to bring out that detail a little bit more. And you can see now where that's actually coming into play. And then we're going to do the same at the bottom. So just a nice light touch over the top of where you've embossed it. And you can see how that brings out that, a little bit heavy up at the top there. And then because I can, I'm just going to edge the rest of it to sort of bring the top and bottom together. So just a little tiny bit down those edges. I'm not too worried that there are white space in there. Don't be afraid of having white space in things. You know, it all adds to the finished look. And then because nearly all my products are water-based, spritz of water and the old cloth, and we're good to go. Okay, so I did exactly the same as this at home. The only thing that I added to it, because I wanted a little bit more texture, is the one that I did at home. I've actually splattered some gold paint into it as well. Now, I didn't bring the paint with me. I can still see it sat on my desk. But literally all I've done is the tiniest little bit of gold paint. Again, watered it down so that you've got a really watery texture. And then I use my little fan brush and literally just splatter it across. If you don't have one of these, you can use an ordinary paintbrush, all right? It doesn't have to be the splatter brush, but just to add that extra bit of detail to it, and otherwise it's pretty much what we've done here. And then to put this into a project, I've just kept with that thin design. So I've used some of our all-purpose card. Because I'd got the gold paint, I've just chosen a piece of gold mirror card that we're going to mat and layer, and we're just going to keep this nice and simple. So let me have a look. I've got some of the tape pen there, so we're literally going to pop just a little bit of double-sided tape. If you prefer a wet glue, this first layer, I would probably be working with my all-purpose glue. Okay. But then I would switch out, because the all-purpose and mirror card don't always sort of befriend each other. It's not easy. If it squidges out the sides, it's not easy always to get it off the mirror card. So I would definitely go to something like your tape pen to add this layer onto here, or if you use double-sided tape or the red line tape, that will work.
Loving the gold frame around it. Just elevates
just finishes it off,
flickers, doesn't it?
And then one of the other products that we've got on the list for you on the show is some of our outline dies, our silhouette florals. So again, just to add a bit more detail to this, I've actually taken one of those die sets and the excess from the mirror card, and then I picked a little bit of the purple out just to bring that colour in. And I've got Bumblebee Paradise. Now, there's a set of 3 of these, which again should be on the Shop the Show section. They're coming up later in the 2 o'clock show. So I've actually taken some of these, just chosen a couple of them, and I've die cut one in the purple and a couple in the scraps that were left over from the gold mirror card. So what we're going to do now then is we're just going to create like a little cluster in the middle there of these, and pop these onto the centre. And then I've just got a little sentiment that we're going to pop across the middle and keep it as simple as that. So again, swapping glues. You know, we've done a lot of shows about different glues and the purpose. So this time I'm coming back to my tacky glue, which comes to you in the larger container. But I always decant it into the little fine tip applicators because you've got a lot more precision with the application. And again, in general, less is more with glue. You don't need anywhere near as much as you think you do. And I was guilty of this. I used to lather it all up when I first started. Whoops, a bit like that. That wants a shake. If you use the tacky glue and you find it a little bit watery, just give it a shake to mix it in, because it is a water-based glue, the white one, and sometimes the water layer separates. So again, I'm just going to pop those on there, and then we're just going to have a couple of these in that gap between where the 2 lots of embossing are, and then we're going to pop this one.
And I'm thinking as well, Jan, you know, that's an incredible background. How much do you think you've paid over the years for printed papers?
Oh gosh,
that's got that distressed water effect
absolutely,
backdrop?
yeah. And part of it is I enjoy doing that kind of thing. I enjoy making the backgrounds. I know sometimes you go to your desk, you've probably experienced this, Craig, where you go and sit at your desk and you look at your piece of cards that you think, I don't know what to do today.
Yeah.
You just get a blank. Make the backgrounds. Have a play with your products and make the backgrounds so that you've got them ready to do all those different things with that I suggested earlier, you know, like not just keeping it as a background, but die cutting into it. The die cut sentiments look great cut out of something like this. So I will keep this one that I've just done here now, and I'll actually use it probably for something like that, cutting sentiments and things out when I get home. It may be that you stamp onto them, use a nice, you know, the black quick dry inks are great for stamping over the colours like that. It may be that you want to cut, if you've got a set of flower dies and you want to cut some flowers out of them to match your project, you know, if you've got spare cards. So I often I'd cut this piece down to the size I wanted today, but sometimes I'll work on a bigger piece if I'm doing this technique so that you've got it to work with and cut into. It may be that you want extra for matte layers, it may be like you want to create embellishments with the same colour scheme. So again, lots of different ways. And then I've just got my little tiny sentiment there. And because we're working onto that different medium, I like to just pop a little bit of the tacky glue on my foam pads as well, because we've got that ink and the paint on there.
What I found as well in the past, Jan, exactly as you're saying, if you're not too sure what to do or what road you want to go down, creating a background, and your intentions are just to create backgrounds, and sometimes that then gets the mind, it could be the colour combination, it could be a pattern in it, and then you think, oh, I know what I'm going to make.
So you can see that background sort of taking centre stage there, really. And then we've just accessorised it with embellishments, with die cuts, things like that.
Stunning.
So that was the watercolour pearlescent inks from Cosmic Shimmer. All right, so that's just one of the many different items. And I'm going to use these, I think I've got another demo with these later at 2 o'clock if you're tuning in later as well. I did that many that I can't remember, but I'm sure I used these twice because I do like them.
Yeah, we do have a nice selection. We're going to have a look just shortly, but elements of what Jan was using is from our mixed media showstopper collection. So today is all about mixed media, and that's why we've got Jan in. It's all revolving around our New Year, New Craft. It's running all week. Monday we had Sarah in die cutting. Yesterday we had Leanne, which was basis of stamping, but she was doing alcohol colouring and watercolouring. Remember, you can always go back across onto our Crafters TV YouTube channel and watch these time and time again. But we're on Wednesday, it's all about mixed media, and this one, it is your mixed media showstopper collection. You are saving 40%, £40 or $60. It is on the mixed media section. Just to say as well, so the colours that you get within that mixed media showstopper collection. So your paint markers, these are your dual coloured paint markers. You're getting your silver Gilding wax, your tricolour aquas are your meadow, your Spectrum Noir re-inker is your black blue, so that's TB9, and then your Cosmic Shimmer pearlescent watercolour ink, that is the colour that I can't say, Jan, I need your help. Cerulean. Cerulean blue.
I believe that's right.
I
pronounce it, I might not be, I don't know.
Well, if you say it, Jan, it is absolutely correct. And then your Cosmic Shimmer pigment satin ink, that one is your citrus lime. That is the colours. You're getting your premium cardstock. You're also getting your blending. It's kind of like your egg-shaped blending tools. You're also getting that circular blending tool as well with a couple of refill heads. So all of that at a platinum price is even better at £32 or $48. All across on Shop the Day, or you can go into that mixed media section that's just been added today on our website. So that is one kind of element as to what we've been looking at. Now you'll have seen the colour that Jan was using, she picked up. We've got one within the actual showstopper selection, so to speak. But remember at the start of the show I was talking about how we've got 3 for 2s on many of the items, not just Crafter's Companion. We've got some Hunky Dory as well as some as the Cosmic Shimmer. Well, guess what? I've got them all lined up for you just here. Now, these are all individually priced, but you can get 3 for the price of 2 of them. Cross on the website, they are going to be $4.29 or $7.99. If you're a platinum price though, look at that. Each of these are £3.40 or $6.39. Just briefly, we've got Passionately Pink, we've got Ray of Sunshine, we've also got our Purple Twilight, we've got our Spruce Green, we've got Lemon Glacier, we've got Holly Green, we've got our Nearly Navy, Red Sunset, Radiant Orchid, we've got Cerulean Blue, and also you've got the Fiery Sunset as well. So that is a selection of all them that we've got. They are singly priced, but they are also on 3 for the price of 2. Also point out, I do say occasionally, remember you get your Club Inspire on everything, even when it comes to a third party, such as Cosmic Shimmer. So that is those ones. So
Craig, sorry, I don't like interrupting you, but just to add something to that, just on the 3 for 2 note, if your budget only allows you to choose 3 of them, which is fine, think primary colours. All right, so think about, you know, sort of your reds or your pinks, your yellows, and then your blues, because they're water-based, you can mix them. So if you pop a spot of blue and a spot of yellow out, you're going to mix a green, and so on and so on. So that's a good way of thinking about it. It may be that you just pick 3 of your favourite ones, or if you're wanting them to sort of extend a bit further, think those 3 primary colours to get you started.
Perfect, excellent. Thank you for that, Jan. Now, one of the folders Jan was using is actually from a set of 3 of them, and I've got the 3 of them just here. So we'll look at the one that Jan was using first of all. This has got to be one of the most craziest price I've seen for 3D embossing folders. Look at that. Now, you would be mistaken for thinking that was individually.
I could say you'd pay that for one, wouldn't you?
You would. Probably cost more than that to make them, to be fair. This is your 3D embossing folder 3-piece selection. So included with that one is the embellished lace. So that's the one that Jan was just using a moment ago. Completely agree with Jan. I love that elongated style when it comes to the embossing. And I love how it's at the top and the bottom. You've got that blank area in the middle.
Or twist it. You could do the landscape and have it either side.
Perfect one. So that's one of them. You've also got your intricate filigree. Now that one's a lovely 5x7. You kind of get that framework within the middle there. You can pop a sentiment or image, whatever you want, but that one is there. And of course you could follow what Jan done a moment ago, but use that one. And then we've got our fancy floral wreath. Now off the top of my head, I think there's about 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches, this one here. So each of these, you've got that sort of framework coming through them all. You've got the elongated DL/slimline folder at the base here. You've got your 5x7, and then you've got your 5.5 by 5.5. All 3 of them, $5.99 or $7.95. Platinum price is £4.79 or $6.36 for all of that. A lot of sadness for your heat gun, Jan.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, a lot of sadness.
Shocking.
Zoe saying, oh no, Jan, rest in peace, heat gun. We've got Lynn saying good morning from sunny Spain. It's nice to hear. I hope you're getting some sunshine, because it is horrendous here today. I woke up this morning and I thought, I don't think I'm in Kansas anymore. I don't think I'm in Spennymoor anymore.
As I've driven up the motorway today, it's got progressively windier and wetter as I came up the motorway, Lovely and sunny when I left home. And then driving up and it started raining. Beautiful double rainbow right over the motorway as I was coming up. And then the wind up at the top. Could feel it moving the car, and the lorries were like, oh gosh. So I'm here safe.
Yeah, well, I'm tomorrow and Friday, I'm going down to round about the Peterborough way. I'm away to visit Don Bibby for a couple of days.
All right,
My friend Don. So I'm just thinking, I'm not leaving till tomorrow morning. But I'm thinking, I hope that weather
it's settled a bit,
down. I really, really do. Just a quick few more for now. We've got Bubble and Squeak saying, love that result, Jan. Bethan is saying, that's beautiful, Jan. Betty Weaver saying, this is beautiful, Jan. And once again, your instructions are easy to understand and detailed at the same time.
Thank you.
Completely agree. Pammy is saying, wonderful teacher. We've got Terry Anderson is saying, petal powder on that purple flower would be another element.
Yep, absolutely. You could trace elements of it with your glue pens and then just pop some of that. Yep, so taking it to that next level. I love it.
Definitely, yeah, that's
Mixing
a really
your
good
mediums
idea.
Again, so it's all that mixed media heading.
Totally, yeah. Miriam is saying, love everything Jan has explained and shown, always easy to follow. Going over the questions at the moment, we'll ask them all kind of like in chunk sections, so I don't think that I'm purposely missing them. Bethan is saying that was a gorgeous card, Jan, and Lazar and Zoe and Bubble and Squeak all saying that is beautiful. And Anita is saying, good morning everyone, late joining, so watching from the start. Wow, Jan, that looks amazing. So much love for exactly what you've done there. Right, Jamie was saying we've got a lot here that have got a number of those 3 for 2 items in your basket ready to check out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of a moment to allow you to check out your baskets. If you're new to us or you're new to Club and Spy and you're thinking, I want to join that, but here's the catch, how much does it cost? Well, it's nothing. Here's Sarah to tell you more.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Who needs New Year's resolutions? Start the year with something you love with New Year, New Craft. Resolutions are easy to keep if it's something you enjoy. And here at Crafters TV, we've got everything you need to kickstart 2023 with a brand new string to your creative bow. Join us for 7 days of inspiration, creativity and new beginnings. Every day from Monday the 9th of January to Sunday the 15th of January will be completely dedicated to a different craft. So, if you've always wanted to refresh your creativity and try your hand at a new technique, this is your moment. We'll be taking a deep dive into die cutting and cutting, making an impression with stamping and mixed media, and exploring the world of sewing and needlecraft. Our expert team is here with everything you need to know to add another craft string to your creative bow. And with a special show-stopping deal for every technique, you can dive in straight away. It's the perfect time for crafters of all abilities to brush up on new skills. So, tune into Crafters TV and head over to the Crafters Companion website for all the details. And even more New Year, New Craft inspiration. Make more of 2023 with New Year, New Craft.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
The one that was really funny, Ben. You did.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I am a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that? We'll do it. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
There we go. That's all the fun that we have on Crafters TV. So much love for what Jan was showing you a moment ago. Maybe you are going to be stocking up on a few little bits and pieces when it comes to the mixed media. Maybe it's going to be for your cardstock. Well, we've got our Stash and Stack. This is our multi-store 3-piece star buy. It works out that you buy 2, you're getting 1 for free, $15.98 or $25.98. It's giving you your saving, of course, of over 30%. If you're platinum, that's going to be $12.78 or $20.78. Now, these are without the dividers, so it's just the actual boxes that you get, no dividers. If you've had these in the past and you've got extra dividers left over, you can absolutely use these ones. Now, you'll have seen in the past, certainly when I've shown these, that you can get your flower forming foam pads in here just perfectly. Your premium cardstock, because 9x12, that fits just perfectly as well. Really, really quite deep and substantial. You've got that really strong locks at each side. You've also got, on the base here, these circles aren't just a pretty pattern. That's adding that extra stability and that strength so that when you fill it, it doesn't start to dome underneath. It's keeping it straight and it's keeping it strong and sturdy. So you are going to be getting the 3 of them. Now, of course, you don't get the contents here, but this is just to show you that even if you don't have dividers, but you still want to pop many of your colour in mediums or any of your adhesives or that, you can absolutely do that. And of course, you know, we tend to touch upon when it comes to crafting elements, but think about around the kitchen, think about in the he shed or the she shed, or, you know, it could be under the counter in your kitchen, it could be in the kids' room, it could be for makeup, it could be for whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be just for crafting. So it is your Stash and Stack. You are getting the 3 of them. It works out 3 for the price of 2. It is the ones without the dividers. $15.98 or $25.98. That gives you your saving of over 30%. But if you're platinum, it's going to come down to $12.78 or $20.78 for 3 of these ones. It's a really, really good thing to have within your crafty stash for you to store, you know, maybe any of your little bottles of that sitting on their side, or just whatever you want. You can store whatever you want when it comes to these. These are across on the website as well. So that is one item I wanted to show you. What I'm then going to show you now is our panel. This is our 3D embossing folders. So this is the one that you're going to be saving over 30% on these. This one here is the best ever price. It's the 10-piece collection, and already, Jan, it's limited stock.
Oh wow, I'm not surprised though. There is such a lot in there. Like we said, because there are 2 different designs, it is a 10-piece collection, but you're getting 20 different embossing folders.
You're right.
3D embossing folders at that. That price is phenomenal, isn't it?
It is, for £40 or $55. Keep in mind as well, maybe you don't know, maybe if you are new to us, these only launched back in October during our birthday event, so they're still relatively new to our collection, and they are our 3D ones, as Jan was saying, and each one is 2 different designs, so technically it gives you 20 folders. So, as I was saying, £40 or $55. If you're platinum, that's going to come down to £32 or $44. And within this 10-piece collection, you're going to be getting your beautiful blooms that you can see here, lovely poppies within that one. You're also getting your timeless tiles. Now, with these ones, Jan, man, woman, boy, girl,
absolutely,
happy occasion. Unfortunately, we'll have to use them for sad occasions. These are really lovely embossing folders. They're not overly powerful in the size.
No, you might just want to use 1 strip. You might want to, like we showed you earlier, you can use the combination of the designs. I'm actually going to do a triple one. So we're going to use one of the folders twice in the demo just to show you how to extend them. Really, really sort of generic designs, really, aren't they? I know people, and now I know I started thinking about, you know, sort of one of the next events to come up will probably be Mother's Day. Some beautiful designs in there, but equally you've got those textured ones that would be great later in the year for Father's Day, wouldn't they?
Of course they would.
Yeah.
They really, really would. And actually, while you were saying that about, you know, where you could use them and that, and then I'm thinking these would work, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I would say that these would work with every single Sarah's Signature collection, Nature Garden. There's something within these that would work for the dragonflies or the butterflies, or of course the daisies that we've got coming up launching on Friday. So they're going to then be tiny little add-ons to your collections throughout your stash, and not just our collections, any of your other crafty stash that you've got at home. So keeping in mind that is limited stock. I think it's fair to say I can say we're down to single figures when it comes to that collection, £40 or $55. If you are platinum, of course, that's going to come down to £32 or $44. Keep your comments coming in, and we will fire them across to Jan once she's shown us what she's going to do.
Right, so we're going to go for the good old gilding wax, because this, I think, is a staple now in a lot of people's kits. We've been selling this quite a long time. You've seen us guys use it quite often, and I'm still going to go and do it again on our matte black cardstock. Okay. I'm going to use one of those lovely textured panel embossing folders, and I've chosen Bloom and Grow. So this one's got a beautiful, it's almost like a sunflower design on it, and then you've got a different pattern on the second one. So we're actually going to use them in conjunction with each other, and I'm going to do them both for you so that you can see what they look like. But we're actually going to do I don't know what kind of flower this one is. I'm not up on all my flowers, but we're going to do this one twice. Okay. And then we're going to have the one that looks like sunflowers in the middle. Nice. Okay. So what I've done is I've taken 3 of the gilding waxes. It doesn't matter which 3. I happen to have got silver. I've got King Gold, which is my favourite one. I've just bought, would you believe, this one's, I think this is the new one. Yeah, I've just bought a brand new pot. And I've had these for years and years and years, and the other 4 are still going strong. This definitely is a favourite because I actually I could see the bottom of the glass jar.
I don't think I've known anyone that's been able to do that.
There is still a little bit of wax in it, but because there's a lot less in it now, it's sort of getting a bit dry and crusty around the edges. So I thought, do you know what? Treat myself to a new one. So yeah, this one's Renaissance, which is more of a coppery gold. That's that lovely warm gold, and the silver. We're going to use all 3 of those in conjunction with each other. So what I've done is I've cut my cardstock down to fit inside the folders. Now the folders measure 7 inches in height by 2 inches across. So I normally cut my card just a fraction smaller because most of the folders have like a border around them. So if you don't want the border impressing onto your piece of cardstock, I usually just pop them that little bit smaller so that I can see that edge all the way around there. So we're going to take that one, and I'm also going to put a piece in the second one.
There's something about embossing folders, or 3D embossing folders in black cardstock.
I just think it's a really simple technique, this, but it never fails to have the wow factor. No. You know, no matter how many times you do it, and it's a great sort of beginner's technique. Now, if I'm clever, ooh, look at this.
Oh, look.
We're actually going to put them both through here together, look. Multitasking now, look at that.
Rolling.
Straight through the midi, and these are thin enough to go through your mini as well, because they're only 2 inches wide. They'll go through your mini. So absolutely a winner there. And again, you've got that beautiful. Now the black we're not going to be able to see brilliantly, which is why I'm going to bring that embossing, that gilding wax in there. Okay, so we'll just give it a little tilt and see if I can catch it on there. You can just pick up a little bit of it, but let me pop the embossing on to show you the detail a bit better. So I'm going to take all 3 of them. As I say, we've got that Renaissance gold, I've got the King Gold, and we've got silver. All right, so we'll do the sunflowers first. So again, the trick, if you haven't come across this one before, if you're brand new to the CTV today, this is actually a wax-based polish, so it is solvent-based. It's not. This is one of the few products that we've got on today that's not a water-based product. So wax and water don't mix. So you can't water this down and use it more sparingly. You can't water it down and use it as paint. It was designed initially for restoring and upgrading, upcycling furniture. Okay. So it will go on to lots of different mediums. It will go straight onto MDF, or any wooden products. It wants to be onto a porous surface. If I popped it onto something that was non-porous, it would just sit on the top and it wouldn't dry very well.
Right.
So you're working onto a porous surface. So all your cardstocks, mount board, MDF, anything like that, wooden embellishments, you can put it onto something that it's actually going to sort of almost soak into. And I can't tell you how little you need. You know, the tiniest little bit, and then almost as if you're trying to take it off your finger again. Doesn't matter which finger you use. I always used to use the middle one initially, but for some reason I've started using my index finger. I don't know why. And then just the lightest touch to start with, and you can see this pattern start. And it's almost like, you know, when you were a child and you used to have, there was the water painting where you just did it with water and the picture emerged. And also those scratch designs where you scratch the design off. It reminds me a bit of that. Now, if you go lightly to start off with so that you can actually see that design, and if I just tip you this one now, you can see much better where those petals are coming up. But what I want to do is actually build this up so that we've got quite a nice gold finish on it. So I'm just taking it to the edge of the petals. I don't want to put too much on the base card, but again, don't worry if you get that bloom on the base card, it's not the end of the world. And again, just keep adding the layers until we've got quite a solid look this time, rather than just that hint of wax. I'm not too worried about the middle because I'm going to go over the middle section with one of the other colours. And even though I said that you couldn't actually dilute these with water and use them in that way, they do actually blend with each other. Because you've got a like-for-like product, they will actually blend with each other. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take, and I'm going to use my next finger for this colour. Okay. I've got a little bit of the Renaissance gold now, which, as I say, is much more sort of coppery. And I'm going to bring that into the centerpiece here and just build it up over the top of that gold that was already there, and you'll see how this takes on a different hue then to the petals. So you can see that top piece now is actually showing much better. Now I've got a couple more of the flowers which I was going to do the same with, and then if I just grab another, forgive me for using the wet wipes because it is the quickest way when we're on air to get clean. At home I do tend to use the cloth more and the water, but it is the quickest way. So I'm going to get rid of off here. If you have trouble getting it off any of your surfaces and you happen to have some of our stick away, which is sort of the sticky remover, this emulsifies the wax and makes it much easier to clean away. So a little top tip for cleaning there.
Great tip.
Then I'm going to take the silver. Now because I've got sort of really thin stems here, to use my finger, I'm not going to be able to get it just on the stem. It's going to go either side, and we get what we call that bloom either side. So I've just taken a little household item. I've got the good old little Q-tip, cotton bud, whatever you want to use, and I'm going to take a little bit of the silver out of here. I'm going to take any excess away from that wet area, and then I'm just going to run this over where those stems are. Okay. And you'll get a much lighter application, and you can be much more sort of specific with where you want.
Never thought about using
the
one
wax.
of them before.
I wouldn't recommend using a paintbrush, not unless you're willing to give that paintbrush to your waxes and that's all you use it from. And if you get a build-up of wax in your paintbrush, you will need a solvent cleaner to get it back out again. So I've never used it with paintbrushes. Okay. And I very rarely, I did try using it through a stencil, and that wasn't as successful as I hoped it to be either. So again, you know, sort of using the right product. You hear me talk a lot about things being fit for purpose. Using them in the right way saves you getting frustrated with how things should work when they don't work. So you can see how we've got those little stems in. And if I bring the one that I'd actually done at home, I've included the leaves there again as well. So again, just taking that silver and highlighting some of the leaves there. So I'm just using the sort of tip of this rather than the tip of my finger, which it's a much smaller area. And again, build it up, add it in layers so that you're getting that depth of colour there. And you can see how we've got that full in. Yeah?
Now the second tip that I'll give you with this, if it's a new product to you, is once it's pretty much dry as soon as you've done it. It's not a wet product because of that solvent base. It's not a wet product, but once it's on your card, you can see, if I show you the difference, see if we can pick up the difference between the two. We've got, I can see here in the studio that this one's much more shiny. And all I've done is with a soft cloth is literally just buff it.
Okay.
So don't try it with kitchen paper, because that textured kitchen paper, all it does is sort of like shred it and you end up with bits everywhere. You want something soft. I just use the microfiber cloths. And just by buffing it, it gives it that lovely sort of shimmer, which is how it was intended. Wow. Okay, so I've done that. I'm going to pop my lids on those and move those out of the way. And I've done that with this particular design. And I've also done exactly the same technique on the second embossing folder. So if I bring you these in now, we've done exactly the same with that second design. So you can see we've got all three good to go. All right, so let's pop those to one side, and then again we've actually got that gold again. Because I've used predominantly gold in the gilding paste, I've brought the gold, and this is the satin cardstock more so than the last one was the mirror card. This is actually the satin, so slightly different look. And again, because I'm going onto that mirror, I'm going to use my tape pens, just nearly run out of them.
Jan, you've gone and done it.
What have I done?
You've gone and sold out that 10-piece collection.
Oh, no.
It's gone. It has gone. I believe we're currently working on something, though. Oh, we've managed to get it ready to go. But they will be coming. Righty-o.
Right.
So,
does my heart skip a beat then, because I've got these on the 6 o'clock show?
So do we
have some more?
Don't panic. We will have another
different configuration,
smaller bundle. Keep an eye on the website, or when it does go live, we'll let you know. But it will be there for the show later on.
Excellent. So again, I'm hoping I might have to give Jake a shout in a minute if he's out there, because
Jake.
All the double-sided tape pens, including mine, are running low.
Just do a Debbie Fisher and just shout.
Just shout.
Just shout. Jake.
I can't see
somewhere.
him. He's possibly in the library.
Maybe he is, isn't he?
Yeah, still going yet. So again, just give those a good stick down. Once I've got these ones on, I can revert to my wet glue, but if it holds out just, there we go, look, for the panels.
Yeah.
I can go and grab one in the next little break. So again, those are just slightly bigger to give that nice little border around the edge.
And again, it pulls out that gold that you've got there within the wax, doesn't it?
It does. It just pulls out and sort of marries it together. You could, if you wanted to pick the silver out, I've put silver behind it. You know, it is a choice. You might want to put a completely different colour behind it. And then what I've done is I've made my card blank here. And this is from a piece of A3. Now, this is actually the Centura pearl. So if you want, you can use the pearl on the outside, or you can fold it with the plain side. Now, I'm going to actually redo this the other way so that we've got that lovely pearl finish on the outside. Okay, and this measures all in total, we're looking at an 8x8 square design. Okay, so just make sure that that's nice and flat. And then I've matted and taken the centres out because we don't need too much bulk.
Okay.
And particularly with the gold card, it's very precious, my satin gold. It's one of my favourite. I know you use a lot of it, don't you, Craig?
Love it.
Do you know, I asked Leanne last time I was working with her, Craig, whether we could have a pack of just the gold satin mirror card. And it set the internet on fire because all the customers were in agreement and they wanted this and they wanted that. And so Leanne's actually taken that idea away with her.
Brilliant.
So fingers crossed, you never know what might appear next year.
Card.
Because I buy the luxury pack, and whereas I use the glitter and the mirror card, I don't use it anywhere as near as much. So the satin one always disappears first, and then I have to open a new pack, and I've still got bits of the other left. So yes, it's very much the same case. Now then, I need this. Oh, we're not going to get another. Do
you want me to run, Jan, and get one? I'll run and get you one.
Are you sure? Because I think I'm going to be struggling to get that. I'm going to stick it on with the tape pen because I'm working onto the Centura pearl. And then with these, when you're working with 3 of something, work with your outside ones first. And what I'm going to do is just eyeball
a similar border all the way round, and the same at this side all the way round. And then you can position, thank you Craig, you can position this one with an even spacing. Okay, whereas if you started from one end and thought, right, well, I have this one here, I'll leave a gap and I'll stick this one down here, and then you might end up with this one not fitting properly at the end. So it's a good way of centering and getting everything straight. So right. Craig's magically got me a brand new tape pen. That's not the new one, that's the new one. Yep. Do you know what I was laughing?
For like the last hour and 10 minutes, Jake's been beavering back and forwards, getting stuff ready for the day. And I got a shout on him and he's away through into the
is he in the library?
Sorting it F in his samples, yeah. Typical, isn't it?
It's a massive job, isn't it?
It is, it really is.
I know when you've watched some of our videos and we've given a shout out to Jake and Tracy and Julia and John. I mean, John gets in there as well sometimes, doesn't he? And, you know, we couldn't do what we do without all those guys in the background. Not. They're our sort of support system, aren't they? And then when we've run out of tape pens and when we need a drink, and you know, they fill all the gaps. So again, I'll carry on with the tape pen now I've got that new one, because it's nice and simple and it's a straightforward stick. So again, I'm just going to eyeball a similar kind of border all the way around there. So I've looked at the top, the bottom and that left hand edge to pop that one. Then I'm going to do the other outside one.
It's a lovely way to see that, yes, it's a duo pack within each pack, so use them singly, or use them as a duo, or use them singly, but why not start to use them as threes or fours?
Yep. There's lots of different ways. You know, I'm prone to chopping things up, so you could chop them in half and extend it again. You could have the 3 in a row, and you could actually split them to make them taller, and then I'd pop a band across the middle so that you disguise the fact that they've got a split in them. That again, so many different ways. Now this one, you could actually pop up on. I think that one would look nice actually popped up on some foam pads, but I don't know. Have I got any foam pads? I think these are probably the little tiny ones. Yeah, they're always the little tiny ones. Oh, what we got here?
I think Sarah was on Monday.
Oh, here we go, look.
Yeah, and she was blaming me for there not being any large ones.
So again, we'll just put 1, 2,
yes.
And a couple down the middle.
Small ones, but I like my large ones. But I've not actually been across on the demonstration side much the last week or two, just helping out on this side, so can't blame me.
There we go, look.
I get the blame for everything. I'm used to it now.
So that one's going to be nice. And because we're just going onto that smooth cardstock, the foam pads will stick to that nicely. So again, I'm just going to hover over the project there and look at those 2 centre panels and make sure that I've got about an equal distance here and here. And then once I'm happy with that, we'll get that stuck down. And then I've just stamped out a little sentiment. Thank you for being a true friend. This is from the Say It With Flowers collection that we have coming up at 6 o'clock. And again, this one's going over the gilding wax. So I'm going to bring in that extra little bit of insurance and just pop some tacky glue on there as well, just to make sure that that one actually does the trick there. And we're just going to put that at the bottom. Now you can add bows, you can add gems, whatever you want to sort of jazz it up. I'm just going to leave it as it is there so that those folders actually do the speaking, and it's a top fold card like so. And if you find with these, I know this one now is actually going to start, it's not doing too bad, but quite often when you've got a lot of detail on the front, it starts to slide. The way of getting around that is to pop yourself a mat and layer inside here to write your message or stamp your greeting on, and because you've got weight on the back as well as the front, it will help it stand. That's not actually doing too well. There it goes, look. You see how it's slipping? It doesn't help with the glass mat, but it will probably work a little bit better on there. But yeah, just decorate the inside of your card as well with a mat and a layer. And as I say, you can stamp your sentiments inside there, you can write your message inside there, and it just balances it out a little bit and helps with that, call them giraffe legs.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Works a treat. That really does work a treat. Thank you so much for that one. Again, a lot of love for that one. We'll go through them just in a moment. Now, Jan was using one of the waxes. We do have the wax waxes on the screen for you. It's your set of 5 of them, 30mm in each, $47.96 or $67.96. You're saving 20% on these waxes, this bundle. If you're platinum, it's going to come down to $38.37 or $54.37. So these are across on the website as well, into either Shop the Day, or of course you can have a look in the mixed media section in the new year, new craft. Right, we're going to have a little quick recap just at the moment for our mixed media showstopper deal. So this is exactly what it is. It is a showstopper of a deal when it comes to a starter kit for mixed media. You are going to get your premium cardstock that you can see here, 9x12, and it's perfect for your watercolouring. You are going to get your 4 spritz bottles. You're then going to get your circular blending tool with 2 of the foam heads. You're also going to get 4 of the egg-shaped blending pads as well. You've got them, and then you are also going to be getting your re-inker from Centura Pearl Spectrum Noir. You're also going to be getting your paint markers, which is your jewels. You're going to get your silver Gilding wax within that one. Your tricolour aqua is your meadow colour. You've then got, in that Spectrum Noir re-inker, it's black blue, which is TB9. You've got your cosmic shimmer Pearlescent watercolour ink. That one is your, still can't say it, cerulean. The reason I could say it the last time is because you'd not that long said it, and I can still, whereas when a time period lapsed, I just forget. I'm going to have to write that down phonetically for later on in the show. That is your cerulean blue, and then you've also got your cosmic shimmer pigment ink, which is your satin lime. So all of that you are going to be getting for £40 or $60. If you are platinum, that is then going to come down to £32 or $48. What I'm going to do, I'll show you a couple more things, and then I'll ask Jan some of these questions that you've sent in for her. But we are going to have a look at Hero Tool. Now, this is our Ultimate Pro. Now, this is your Ultimate Pro with your free boxer board, and you're going to get your 25 sheets of cardstock and a tape pen. So you will, probably most of you, will have seen and know what the Ultimate Pro is all about. So many of us on the team have done shows when it comes to the Centura Pearl. It's because I'm away to show you Centura Pearl that you get with it. Do you know what? Centura Pearl, it's Spectrum Noir, it's Cosmic Shimmer, it's all these double words. So, your Ultimate Pro, this one being your metric. So, you will be able to find so many shows across on Crafters TV that you can go back and you can watch. It's a key staple tool within so many people's crafting. It is, apart from the envelope maker, this is kind of what also catapulted Sarah in Crafters Companion, the versatility of it. You know, you can do your shape cards, you can do your concept cards, you can do your boxes, you can do your envelopes, you can tie bows, it's got a paper trimmer in there. It is so handy. Now, if I was here saying that you're getting this for that today's price, that would be really good. However, what you're also going to get free is your boxer board. Now, within this one, that one is centimetres on one side and inches on the other, and it does just slot inside your Ultimate Pro as if it's a workstation. It does open out as well. That's where you can do your scoring, cutting, but your actual box maker board, that is going to sit nicely on top for you to then do your scoring, your card blanks, your concept cards, your boxes, because it is a box maker as well. Now, if that was that, I would say brilliant, that's great, but you're also going to get your 22-metre tape pen. So this is our full length straight tape runner, 22 metres in length, and then you're also going to get full pack of Snow White Centura Pearl as well. Now look at that. That one here on that today's price is a 35% saving. $39.99 or $69.95. Platinum price for all of that comes down to £31.99 or $55.96. Now keeping in mind you can go across onto our YouTube channel and you can see and watch hours and hours and hours of course, how the Ultimate Pro works. Now, maybe you're like, Craig, I've got all those bits, I want some more A3 cardstock. Well, we've got you covered. So we've got 3 collections of our A3 Centura Pearl cardstock. So you've got Hinted Gold, Hinted Silver, and you've got the pastel, or for you guys stateside, pastel. we've got the hint of silver. Now, it's single-sided when it comes to the pearlescent. Now, you could be using them as your card blanks, as Jan was showing you a moment ago. As I always say as well, it's always, where possible, best to have A3, because then you can chop it down to A4. It's a lot more difficult doing it the other way around. You've then got your pastel. Now, in each of these, you're getting 25 sheets of each. So you've got your pastel blues, pinks, mints, lilacs, and your yellows. These are the packs that I use a lot for baby cards, for making baby cards.
It's a lovely colour palette, isn't it? Really spring-like.
Really, really gorgeous. You can foil onto it, you can still emboss onto it if you want to. Still very versatile in the uses that you would use that in. And then we've also got our gold. So just to show you the difference between the two, there is, you can see that slight difference that we've got. So all of these, you're going to get all of these. So it's a 30% saving when it comes to the today's price of £25.50 or $37.50. It works out, you're buying two and you're getting one for free. But if you're platinum, it is down to £20.40 or $30. So that really is a good one to have a look at and stock up. All of these are across on the website, as well as many of the other things Jan's been showing you and that we'll be showing you throughout today on Crafters TV. Right, let's stop back just a little bit to ask some of the questions. Janet is asking, morning Craig and Jan. Jan, what's the difference between the 3-in-1 blendable markers and the tricolour markers?
3-in-1 blendable markers, are we talking aqua or tri-blend?
So that's what so when I read it, I was thinking the blendable markers should possibly mean in the tri-blend.
The tri-blend, and then the tricolour. Right, let me just see what we've got. I don't think I've got them across there. I've not got my tri-blends with me today, but I have got the tricolours because we're going to use these later on. But the basic, if that is what you're asking, Janet, the biggest difference between the two that makes them totally different is the tricolour aqua, and you've got a clue there in the name of it, is a water-based pen providing colour. And the tri-blends, which have the 3 shades of one colour. I'm sure we had some of those over there, but I can't see them just off the top of my head. I can. There we go.
There they are.
I prefer to show you them because it gives you a better. So if this is what you're asking about, Janet, and if you're not, feel free to come back to us and let us know. But the tri-blends are alcohol markers. Now, alcohol behaves very, very differently. It's a bit like we were talking about the gilding waxes. It's a solvent-based product. So really, the tri-blend alcohol markers are designed primarily for colouring. I certainly wouldn't be trying to make backgrounds and things like that with them. You would probably waste so much of your ink, and they won't blend together other than, well, I say whether they won't blend together, that's not technically correct. I don't want to confuse you. They will blend with each other, but they won't blend with a watercolour product or with water. So alcohol markers, you've got 3 shades of one family in the tri-blend, which means that the light, the medium and the dark will give you that 3 shade colouring if you're wanting to go for a colour that's got some kind of depth to it. The aqua markers, again, we're coming back to that water-based product, and I'm going to use, I know I've done it before, and it's always a really good demo where we put the glycerin with them, and I'm going to do that in the 2 o'clock show. But these have got a lovely brush tip on them. So again, you can colour direct to paper with them if that's what you wish. You can put them onto your mats or your a piece of acetate if you don't have a glass mat, and pick them up with a paintbrush. You can actually do a similar technique to what I did with the first card. If you were watching us at the top of the show, you can pick up the colour with the cardstock. Again, water-based products have such a wide sort of ability to use, whereas, as I say, the alcohol products are more of a colouring type medium. So I hope that was the difference between them. If it's not, as I say, come back to us and let us know, Janet, and we can try and sort of solve what's going on for you.
Brilliant, thank you for that. Liz R, hi Liz, is just saying, I have some of the Spectrum Noir reinkers. So this is going back to the first demonstration that Jan done. Do I apply the same principle and use alcohol card?
Right, it's funny you should say that because the next demo coming up is going to be using the alcohol reinkers. So these are a Spectrum Noir product. It's the same ink that is in our pens. Okay, and the re-inkers were designed originally because one of our sets of pens, I can never remember which one, I think it's the Classiques. One of them is you can refill, can't you?
Yeah, Classics you can do. And
the illustrators, I think, not the tri-blends, because that's a different formation, but the original pens, you can actually buy the ink to refill the pens if you so wish. But I'm going to show you a different technique with these. But yes, these are solvent-based, so they wouldn't work like I used the little Cosmic Shimmer products earlier. So when we actually put this one out and we started spritzing it with water and we made a background, these won't do this. They don't move, they don't mix with water. If you think about oil and water doesn't mix, it's a bit like that. But we are going to use these in a second so I can give you an idea of things that you can do with them.
Brilliant. Excellent. Also, just talking about that first demonstration you done, Terry Anderson saying, could this technique also have been done with the sparkle pots?
Absolutely. Anything water-based. If you have the sparkle pots, if you have the original aqua tints, I know I've still got a box of those on my shelf somewhere, anything that's water-based. If you have another company's product that's water-based, whether it be a Cosmic Shimmer product or someone else, anything that's water-based, you can do this technique with, along with some of our Spectrum Noir products. So you've seen me do this technique with the ink pads, where we put the ink pads and spritzed them and picked it up. So you can do it with the tricolour aquas, as I say, popping it down, spritzing it, picking it up. So anything that's got a water base, you can do this technique with.
Perfect, excellent. Actually, still about the first demonstration as well. Gemma's asking, can I please ask Jan, what gold paint was it that you used for the splatters?
Right, mine's a really old one. I'm not sure what I had. I couldn't even tell you what the brand is on it. I've had it years and years and years, and it is just a gold metallic paint. So it's a water-based paint. You can get lots of them out there, but I've got a box under my desk that's got a mismatch of all different. I've got some Pebeo paints in there from when I used to work in the store and we stocked those. I've got some Dale Arowney paints in there. I've got some cheap paints from some of the pound stores, and I literally just grabbed one of the gold metallic ones, so I'm not even sure which brand it was, to be honest.
Okay,
but any metallic paint, as long as it's a water-based paint, you can do the splattering with.
Perfect, right, we've got 3 questions, then we can move on to Jan's next demonstration. This is actually a good one, and maybe one that some people have thought the same. Azam Kid is saying, hi there, loving Jan's demos as usual. Question, can you dilute the tacky glue with water if it gets too thick, or will that not work?
You can dilute it. I wouldn't be diluting it to use it as an adhesive. All right, it already has a water content in the tacky glue, and as I say, sometimes you'll start to use it and it's really thin and watery, and what happens is the water splits from the actual adhesive. So again, really good shake to mix it up and you'll get that consistency. So if you're wanting to use it as an adhesive, I wouldn't be watering it down. The occasions that I would water it down would be to use it to make like a glaze to go over the top of something. So for example, if you've made one of our projects with the jigsaw dies and you wanted to pop like a little glaze over the top of it, little bit of the glue and some water mixed together to make it quite watery and painted over the top, it would dry with a really nice sort of satin sheen to it. Also for things like paper mache, which I used to do tons of when I was working in school, you can dilute it with water to make the type of adhesive that you'd use to make paper mache items. So if you're wanting to add, you've seen me when I've done glue school, when I've used serviettes and applied those to projects. Again, you can buy specific glues that are collage mediums that you can use for that, but if you don't have them, a little bit of diluted tacky glue does the job. But for far as adhesive properties are concerned, if you're using it to stick something together, I would keep it as it is in the bottle.
Brilliant, that's excellent, thank you for that. There is 2 more, I could actually show them at my side, because one of them was from, Christine was just asking, what was the folder that you used, Jan, within that first demonstration?
Absolutely.
That was the embellished lace, that was the one that Jan was using. And then the final one was Bubble and Squeak was saying, so I've got them lined up on my side here. Jan, could you show the 2 red pearlescent reds side by side? I have to go and order 2 of them to get the 3rd one on offer. So we've kind of got through, there's kind of like 4 reds, red tones within these 4 here. So I've just put them side by side. I will tell you here the pearlescent ones that we've got. So you've got Radiant Orchid, actually, well, that one says Passionately Pink, Red Sunset and Fiery Sunset. So I've put the 4 of them together.
If you tip them up, Craig, have they got the mica at the bottom?
It does, yeah.
It'll give you a better idea there, look, with the colour schemes, yeah.
So we can take that.
That is richer because the mica's settled in the bottom, but that'll give you an idea of the actual colours better.
There we go. That's it. So your 2 of them there, that is your red sunset and your fiery sunset of these 2 here. There you go, details.
So don't forget, when that mica's mixed in with the liquid ink, you will get a slightly different tone.
Perfect, yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for answering them, Jan. I know it's a big help to many of you that were answering them. Right, we're going to take a little bit of a quick break and then we're going to come back to get all inky again, and we're going to have a look at what Jan's away to do just next. We'll be back in a minute.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. So, join our family of craft experts with live tutorials and demonstrations every day. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products here on Crafters TV. Get creative and craft along with our amazing deals. Your next craft project is only a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week or watch on catch up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook or our YouTube channel. You can chat to us, craft along and meet new friends in our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
You're all our time with each other! You're not through to boot camp. Get off!
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. So, stop what you're doing and enjoy the fun here on Crafters TV.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. We see the same people. We know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer but come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some of the customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. I love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
Rightio, we are into the last, well, just under a half hour of the show. So we're going to have a wee quick recap when it comes to our mixed media showstopper deal. Today it is all about mixed media. This whole week on Crafters TV is new year, new craft. So today is all about, as I say, mixed media. Now, this is a mixed media showstopper deal. You are going to be getting your premium watercolour cardstock. It is your 9x12. You're also going to be getting your 4 spritzer tools. You're also going to then be getting your round blending tool with your 2 foams. You're also going to get those egg shape blending pads as well. You're going to get your paint markers, which are the dual. You're also going to get silver Gilding wax. Your Tricolour Aqua is your Meadow. Your Spectrum Noir Re-Inker is your Black Blue, TB9. You're also going to get your Cosmic Shimmer Pearlescent Watercolour Ink. That one is your Cerulean Blue. And then you've also got your Cosmic Shimmers, your Pigment Satin, which is your Citrus Lime. So you've got a 40% saving on that today's price, which is £40 or $60. Or if you are Platinum, it's going to come down to £32 or $48. Or let's not forget, this might be your very first purchase after joining Club Inspire. It means you're going to get 20% off that first purchase. So if this is it, then you're going to get that for £32 or $48 as well. So it's a nice little mixed media set, starter set for that showstopper. Then something I absolutely love, and you know, I do use them to top up my classic pens, but really I use them mostly for doing fun backgrounds and getting inky. And that is our Re-Inker selection from Spectrum Noir. Now, £40 or $50. Platinum price is £32 or $40. On that today's price, you've got a saving of 30%. And you've got, Jamie, we're getting them all. We're getting them all. Wow. We're getting all of these. So we're going to have a look at these ones. I'll briefly go through them. They are, of course, all on the website, just like everything else that Jan's been using and showing. CR3, now I've not got these in order, never got them in order in time, but we will do for the middle show. We've got CR3, PP6, we've got LG4, BG3, we've got MG3, MG2, and FL3. We've also got DP4, we've also got TN9, we've got BP3, we've also got BJ7, we've also got TB4, OR2, FL2, we've also got BT4. We've also then got JG4 and BGR4. So I promise within that mid-show, I'll have them all sorted in a proper order. But you get them all. And these are so versatile. They are alcohol-based, so you can do lots of things with them. I use them predominantly for backgrounds and that. You can refill your classics and your illustrators, but these are such a fun medium to get creative with.
They are, again, yeah. We're going to do some background work with them now. So just for the benefit of people that may be brand new to us at Crafters TV, and you think, what on earth is Craig talking about? I've actually got a couple out of my stash at home. So these are part of the same colour family as the bundle that we've got on offer, but they're slightly different shades. Okay. So for example, you had a BT4, I think it was on there. Yes. Mine's a BT8. It just means it's a little bit darker at the shades. So just for the benefit of anybody new, it sounds like a foreign language. If you're brand new to Spectrum Noir, we have a coding system that was brought in when Leanne devised the very first range of pens, which were the equivalent of the Classiques. And all it means is it's the colour family. So for example, the JG is a jade green family. The lower the number, the lighter the colour. So a 2 would be a fairly light shade of the jade green family, whereas maybe a 7, you would get much stronger depth. Okay. For example, BT is a blue turquoise, and we've tried to give you an indication of the colour on the front of the bottles there, so you can see the difference between the green and the turquoise. Now, my turquoise is an 8, which is quite a dark turquoise, whereas your BT 1 and 2 would be much lighter in shade of that same family. So just to explain the jargon a little bit, because it can be a bit off-putting when with CR1 and DR3 and it's like, what on earth are they talking about? So don't worry about that. You don't need to be familiar with the tones. If you're using them as the Re-Inker for your pens, then you would need to get the correct code that is on your pen. So if you have a classic pen that's a JG2, part of your jade green range that's actually running low on ink, you could use this ink to refill the pen. Okay. And there are loads of shows on our Colour Me Happy Spectrum Noir shows where you probably will find examples of that. So I'm not going to go into that today. So this is actually an alcohol-based ink. And when we were talking about this earlier, when we were answering Janet's question, this behaves very, very differently to a water-based product. It's a solvent-based colour medium, and it is used in a very specific way. So all those backgrounds and washes and mixing with water doesn't work with these at all. It's a completely different system. Now, a couple of things I just want to talk to you about before we get going with this. Number one, I'm actually going to use some of the specialist paper now. We checked earlier and I think it's out of stock on our website at the minute. So I do apologise for that, but it only works, or the optimum benefit from it is with this type of paper, and I'll explain a bit more about that. All I would say is if anybody's interested in these techniques and you may be buying some of the re-inkers today, if you go and look for this on the website, there'll be a little box where it says pop your email address in and they will let you know when this comes back into stock. So you get a reminder by email straight to your mailbox, and it'll let you know that it's back in stock for you. It's a Spectrum Noir product, all right, and it's called UPO paper, and it's actually plastic. It's not cardstock like we're used to. If I drop these onto cardstock, it would literally bleed in, it would soak straight through the other side, and it would start spreading at a rate that you probably wouldn't be able to control very well. With this having like a plastic finish to it, it's called a liquid media paper. It sits on top, and then you can move it around as you wish. So that was number one. Number two, I'm going to bring in some neat alcohol. So this is isopropyl alcohol, and you can buy this off the internet. This is not a product that we stock. Now, I just want to give you a bit of a warning with this because A, you can see the symbols on here, it's flammable, so be really careful with it, and B, you should always use it in a well-ventilated environment. Now, we've got a massive studio here, and I've got the door open at the back. We've got window behind us, so it's, you know, we've got the means to actually use this, and I'm only going to be using a tiny little bit of it in one of our pipettes, so I'm not going to go crazy with it. So if you're at home and you only have a small craft space, I'm saying just be careful, just be aware of its properties. It does have quite a lot of fumes, and if you start inhaling those fumes, it can give you a bit of a headache, that kind of thing. It's not lethal. It's not the type of alcohol that you would drink. Please don't drink it. Please do not drink it. It's not that type of alcohol, all right? It's like a spirit type base.
You're listening, Charlotte.
Okay. So, just while we've talked about those two notes, again, I'm going to bring in my craft mat to work on, and I'm going to take a piece of the UPO paper. Now, this is a 5x7 piece, and it's got a really nice, if I sort of try and just give you an example, it's not shiny, but it's got a really smooth, almost like a waxy finish to it. It's not like a cardstock. And then I'm going to work with both of these colours. I'm going to start with the turquoise colour, and I'm also going to bring in a little bit of this alcohol. So what I'm going to do is, it's got the safety cap on the top. I'm just going to take my pipette and I'm going to squeeze it and fill it, so I've got it at the ready. And that's literally all I'm really needing. I might need to refill it, but and I'm going to put the lid back on. I'm going to put that well out of the way. So we've only got that little bit that we're working with, and as I say, in the studio here it will be fine. So two choices. You can put the neat alcohol on first and then drop the alcohol into it, or you can do the alcohol and then so it's like an extender. So it's like what's in here, but without any pigmentation in it. So I'll do both and show you the difference. There's not really any need to shake these. There's nothing in them that will need mixing, like with the mica powders or the glitter or anything. And they come with like a little squeezy piece on the top here. If I actually close it again, you can see the little squeezy bit.
Oh, it's already involved.
For you to be able to squeeze the ink out. So if I pop a drop of this on first, okay, you just got one little drop, and then pop some of this with it. You can see how it starts travelling. Yeah. Now I've got a little gadget which again's off the internet, and it's just an air blower. Okay. So all it does is allow you to start. Because again, to get too close to it and start blowing it with your own breath, you're a bit close to those fumes. So again, these are really not expensive. You can buy them off the internet. And all it does is move this round. So where you've put that sort of extender, if I now put some here, I can start moving it in that direction. You can keep moving it, okay? Now to do it the other way, if we put this down first and pop a bit of that down first and then drop this into the middle, you can see how it doesn't move the same, okay? But it is travelling. You see it going, look. It will fill the sort of blob of the extender that you've put down. But again, once you start actually bringing in the air, you can move it around and you can put whichever direction you come from. You can make some really, now I'm no artist with this, but if you have a look on something like YouTube and Google this, people do some fabulous paintings. They make them look like flowers. I've yet to get to that level. I'm not that good with it. It's not something I've practiced as much, but it's really fun. And it's one of those things where you'll never get the same thing twice. And producer Jamie we've got in today, he'll appreciate that, because I know you do a lot of work with the acrylics, Jamie, and that's the same, isn't it? It's like, for what you do with them, it's very hard to replicate something. So this is sort of a bit like a one of a kind. And again, if it's not travelling as far as you want it to, I want this to come down here now. So I'm literally going, it's almost like giving it a path.
That's what I was just
about
to say, isn't it? It's like a path, a guidance.
And then whereas the colours don't mix, I'm going to pop the lid back on the turquoise one, and I've got the jade green one, because these two actually go together nicely. Whereas they don't mix, you can start and bring in a different colour. So it may be that you want to add 2 or 3 colours and make it, you know, sort of properly rainbowed. And again, try it first, see how much of the extender you've got left. If you don't have enough, you can literally just pop in again with a little bit of that extender. Don't be afraid to go over the top of what you've already done. And again, you can see how we can bring in that second colour and just give it some sort of purpose. And you can play with this for hours. Now, in our alcohol range, we don't do any metallic alcohol inks, but on the internet, you can buy things like gold and silver and run those through it. Those look really nice. Don't be afraid, if you've got a dark area, to just drop a bit of the extender again in it, and you can see how it behaves. You can get some really nice, it sort of pushes it out of the way, and you can get some really nice effects with it. And again, depending on where you come from with the air, which direction you're going in, you can move it about and move it along. So wherever it's sort of wet, in the sense of you've got the extender, and then it does dry fairly quickly. So here, there's nothing happening now because it's dry. This piece at the top here is pretty dry, but I can see where I've got the pools of it and the light's catching it. Wherever it's still got some moisture, you can keep moving it around as to where you want it to go. So it's really sort of quite clever as it works, and as I say, you'll never get the same reaction twice. Now, I've still got a little bit of the alcohol in here. I said I was going to use a very, very small amount of it. I'll put that back in the bottle in a second. All right, just make sure we've not got any lying around. And then once it's dry, I would leave it for about 20 minutes or so. You can just see here, if I tip it, it's still got quite a wet surface on it at the minute. Now, you can use your heat tool to dry it, but it is actually better to let it dry on itself. And then I did one at home where I worked on it a wee bit longer. You can just see this is where I've started, and this is by layering the 2 colours. So I've added more of it, and then I've gone over it with the turquoise again, then I've gone over it with the green again, and you can just see where we've got that. It's almost like, you know, like if you had a piece of crystal and you looked into the crystal, it's that kind of thing. So, again, just to bring it into context, card blank, I've matted it on some mirror card, and then I had a quick look through my stash because it reminded me of water and underwater. So it's one of my favourite. I love this stamp. It's an old one. I don't know whether it's still available on the website or not, but some of you may have got it. It's called Seize the Day, and I love this little guy. But I just thought something like that on it, and a nice sentiment, and you've got a really nice card. So again, have an afternoon playing around with this kind of thing and then keep them. I've just trimmed it down slightly so that it fit my my card design. But again, just a nice way of making backgrounds. And that set that we've got, I think Craig's got them all lined up now in a lovely, that appeals to me, Craig. Me too. I used to have the products like that when I worked in the store, so that they were all like in rainbow order. So we'll just have a quick look again. If you imagine doing that with lots of different colours, you're going to get like a stained glass effect. So again, you could use it behind things. You can also use these on acetate as well, just thinking about stained glass. Because acetate is I always get them wrong way around, non-porous, which is what we said this was. The alcohol inks will work on acetate, and therefore when you put those, if you put those in an aperture in a design and you get the light through it, it really does look like stained glass.
Oh, that would look incredible. Absolutely incredible. Just to say as well, certainly here in the UK on our website, Seize the Day is available.
Excellent.
And it's $7.99. So
I use it a lot for that, that kind of theme.
So stateside Central Europe, just check out your website. But yeah, here in the UK it is on our one for $7.99. But yeah, here's a selection, there is your collection of your re-inkers, BG4, TB4, BP4, TN9, CR3, PP6, BP3, BT4, LG4, BG3, BG7, BGR4, FL3, FL2, MG2, MG3 and OR2. All of that you're going to get £40 or $50. Of course, you can recap the colours across on our website. If you're platinum, however, that's going to come down to £32 or $48. So a fab one in which you can then get all inky till your heart's content. Rightio, we are going to do a demo of the show. So we know by the end of the day, Jan's going to be our overall winner. And I can certainly say between this show and next show with the mixed media, form that we're focused on, how you guys are going to choose.
I've got some really nice ones for the next show, I must admit. This was just like a taster session, but there's all sorts coming up, All I'm doing is just very quickly popping a few foam pads on my little seahorse guy. I don't have a sentiment on here, but you could very easily stamp a sentiment onto it. But just so that we can pop him in the vote, we'll pop this one. And I say I'd probably stamp a nice little sentiment at the top there, but just to see him as a finished project. So shall we have a look at all of the ones that we've done?
Please.
Yep. So top of the show then, we started out with the Cosmic Shimmer products, and we used the Pearlescent watercolour inks to make the background on this one, and then just added the extra embossing folder and the die cut. So that was number one. Okay.
I love it.
Number two, we went to those panel embossing folders and we did an extra one. You get the two designs in your pack, but we just did an extra one and made it into a triptych panel there with that lovely gilding wax. And then number three, we've just been having a play with those alcohol re-inkers and using them in a different way to create that lovely background. The other thing I'd brought actually was I've got some of those little bubbles, they're like the clear, and I thought they'd be nice to pop on here to look like bubbles, so I'll just pop a few of those on. But basically 1, 2 or 3 for our vote. Okay, I did have a fourth one, but I wanted to spend time on the technique, so we're just running out of time a little bit there.
And I think it's worthwhile saying as well, Jan, the fourth one, it wasn't actually a mixed media
No,
kind
it wasn't.
style,
It was
so you're
for
not
the show
missing out on
later.
anything. But we'll recap the mixed media show that we've got coming up just shortly once we've gone over this. Now, we do have a mixed media explorer kit for you to get your hands on should you wish to. This one here is your 5-piece kit, so it's giving you embossing folder and 10 sheets of cardstock. So you've got candy cane. Now this one here, it was originally from a Christmas collection, but as you can see, you don't have to use it for Christmas, and it's one that I actually use more for all occasion other than Christmas. So you've got your rectangle aperture that die cuts out, and you've got those kind of little perforation dots all the way around that die cut out as well. I'll just show you on the actual folder. So you've got the black lines that emboss / deboss, and then where you've got all that white padding, that's what's going to die cut. So you've got that one. You've got actually one of your duo embossing folder. So with this one here, you're getting the bloom and grow.
That's actually the one that we used on here, Craig. Perfect. So that's the designs that we did on the gilding wax.
That's excellent. That's good to know that one. Brilliant. So that's the one that Jan used. You're just seeing it just in a moment, coming up with the gilding waxes.
Yeah, so that gives you that design. So you get 2 of them, like I said. If I cover one of them up, you get 2 of the designs there. I just repeated it a 3rd time.
That's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And then I'm thinking, doing what Jan done a moment ago, but with maybe some of the yellows and the oranges, die cut this, either in a colour or a black or a grey, and overlay that, would look exquisite.
Just a quick note, Craig, on the U-poke paper, you can die cut it with your metal shim.
Oh, even better. Wow.
So if you make those backgrounds, you could die cut sentiments and flowers. Just add your metal shim into your plate combination because it's very, very thin. Very thin.
I'm thinking.
goes into overdrive, doesn't
all
it?
inky. And originally I thought Sunflower Collection, and then I've also thought the Daisy Collection that's launching on Friday. That'll be gorgeous. We've got our die set here from our Secret Garden. So you're going to get all of these. It's a stamping die set. You're also going to get that chandelier 3D 5x7 embossing folder from your Masquerade Ball, and you're also going to get a full pack of your Ivory Centura Pearl. That one there is your 10 sheets, and it's 310 GSM. You're going to get all of that for £30 or $35. If you are, of course, platinum, that's going to come down to £24 or $28. Just waiting on that vote coming through. Pamela's saying how fascinating that technique was that Jan just done. Carol's saying, I love this technique, reminds me of paint pouring on canvas with less waste. There's a good idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Laura Simmons, so when Jan, I thought you were busy sorting something there, Jan. I didn't want to interrupt you there. Laura Simmons was just asking, can Jan say again about the gold and the silver? Was it a metallic ink or was it gold leaf you were referring to for the splatters? The splatters on the
splatters, or when I was talking about it with the alcohol inks?
Oh, actually, yeah, it could be both.
Yeah, with the alcohol inks, you can. We don't do the metallic ones, but if you look online, you can get metallic alcohol inks. You can get gold, silver, copper, things like that.
I'm going to say
brands.
Mr. Tim Holtz.
Yes.
Would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah. There's the ones I use.
Yes, snap.
But other brands are available.
Of course they are, absolutely. Yeah. They are. I think when anyone thinks of that, I think you think of Tim Holtz.
Yeah, they come under the brand, it's Ranger, the brand. They have Tim Holtz's name on, and those are the ones that I've got at home that I use in conjunction with our re-inkers, yeah.
Perfect.
But as I say, there are lots of people make them. There are less expensive ones out there. It doesn't have to be the most expensive. Ranger can be a little bit pricey sometimes, but there are other brands out there that are equally as good.
Brilliant, thank you for that one. Right, we do have a result, and it goes to, I'm so glad you guys were choosing, because I couldn't. It goes to number 2, Jan.
Excellent.
It goes to number 2.
Fantastic.
Isn't
well
that
deserved.
gorgeous?
Thank you very much, guys.
That is
So that was that lovely
gorgeous.
embossed panels, yep.
Thank you so much for that one, Jan. And no, just so much love, as there always is, Jan, when you ring.
Thank you.
Because I know, as you say, because you're not here as often, because you do kind of like it's part-time basis, isn't it?
It is part-time, yeah. I only normally do 4 TV days in a month unless they need me to do cover for anything, you know. So I usually 4 TV days in a month, which averages once a week, but it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes I'm here twice a week and then I'm not here the next week. It's been like nearly a month since I was here before Christmas because I've had a couple of weeks off over the Christmas break. So yeah, so not as immersed in it as some of you guys are, but it's enough for me. It's enough. I only wanted to work part-time, and I'm just grateful that I can do that and come and see you, even if it is only 4 times a month.
And the thing is, as well, is throughout that, I was messaging back and forwards to Chloe about, you know, some of the questions and the comments, and she was saying what we were saying as well. It shows volumes in the amount of viewers and the amount of comments that comes through. You know, people just love it when you're in, you know, your style and how you talk about it, the steps methodically, and just
I am
much
sure
love.
It's the same for all of us, Craig. We all like something different, don't we? So I'm sure it's like, I think that's why we make such a good team, because everybody brings something different to the table, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, everyone just adores what you do, Jan.
Thank you, guys.
Rightio, so very quick recap of the showstopper. We do have that mixed media showstopper collection where you're going to get your premium watercolour ink pad. You're going to then get your aqua pens. We're also going to get our aqua colour pens, tricolour. You're going to get your spritz bottles. You're going to get blending tools. You're going to get a refill ink. You're going to get a couple of items from Cosmic Shimmer. You're also going to get your silver Gilding wax. All of that, you're going to be £40 or $60 if you're Platinum, that comes down to £32 or $48. This, as well as many, many other things that Jan has been showing you and I've been talking about, are across on our website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com or .eu. You can go to shop the day. What I would also urge you to do is don't forget that you can go into the new mixed media section when it comes to New Year, New Craft. You will find many of the items that Jan has been using across there for you to select. Also, while you're there, have a look at that New Year, New Crafts. A lovely little photo of Debbie Fisher, and it says 23% off. We've got selected items at 23% off because it's New Year, New Craft, and of course we are celebrating that by having 23% off a selected amount of items.
Can I just have one more quick thing in, Craig? Just this applies to that starter kit that you've just said. You get one, it's not this colour, but you get one of the pearlescent watercolours. Okay. You get the misters. This dropped in here, and you've got a colour spray mister with any of the colours. Yeah. So you just need a little bit. You can use it neat because this is liquid ink. Yeah. Straight, just unscrew this at the middle. So where you'd normally fill it with water, drop a few drops in, dilute it a little bit, goes even further, but it will be a bit more translucent. But yeah, that and that. You've got your own little spray misters. We're going to come on to that in the next show as well. Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. Well, we of course had 2 hours of pretty much full back-to-back mixed media, but we're going to delve even more into the world of mixed media and getting all inky and colouring. So I hope you can join Jan and myself. That is going to be for New Year, New Craft, all about mixed media. 2 o'clock here in the UK, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Time, and then it is Wednesday, and for this week it is back at its usual time slot. That is beautiful beginnings, 6 o'clock here in the UK, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. We will go back and we'll look at some die cutting and embossing, etc, etc. Right, if you are watching live, you've got an hour to get yourself sorted and ready. Come back and watch what Jan's going to be doing with our incredible demos when it comes to mixed media. We'll see you just shortly. Bye.